In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my favorite toys/gifts because they aren't all toys in this age range, and I will share why as we get into this video. But these are the minimalist and intentional things that we have really enjoyed giving as gifts as our oldest has been in this age range. She is now 9 years old. And one thing about me is I'm not just a minimalist just for the sake of being a minimalist. I don't count my kids' toys or anything like that and make sure we only have a certain amount. But when I am getting them gifts or deciding which gifts to put on their lists, I want the things on there to stand the test of time. I don't want it to just be something that they play with for a week and then forget about, or they just leave it lying around. I want it to be something they really care about. And this can take a lot of different forms at this age. I feel like even more so than the other age ranges I have made videos about. In this age, yes, there are still different toys that the kids might enjoy, but I have also found that they are getting interested in other things beyond toys. So when I am looking for things for this age range, I am looking for either toys that I know that they will absolutely love based on what other things they have really enjoyed in the past. I'm looking for toys that will encourage imagination, or I'm looking for things that are encouraging a hobby or interest that the child already has. One of my big things is kids don't necessarily need a new hobby or a new toy every single Christmas. It is, in my opinion, much better to build on interests, hobbies, toys that they already have, because then they can more fully enjoy those things instead of having their attention just divided among all the new things. So I'm going to start this list with what I would consider to be more toy items, and we'll move into some of those other items as we go through the video. We're going to start this video in a very similar way to how I've started a lot of the other videos because it's just been a big part of my kids' lives for all of the ages, but that is dolls. Now, I will say when my oldest was 7, 8, 9 years old, she became much more interested in, I would call them big kid dolls. They look more like a girl instead of a baby. They have hair that you can do things with, and they just have really enjoyed playing with these dolls. They like to get clothes for them. They like to do their hair. They like to play with them in a different way than they do the baby dolls. Both of my girls still personally love the baby dolls, but it has definitely morphed and changed into what they spend more of their time on as they get older. Now, I said when I created these lists, I asked my kids, my girls, if I should add anything to these lists, and my oldest actually said, put strollers on the list because she really enjoys the dolls. She likes the doll accessories, the beds, the car seat, the strollers, things like that that we have gotten to enhance their play with the dolls. So if you have a child that is into dolls, accessories and other ways that they can play with the dolls are still something that they may enjoy at this age. I don't know if all kids in this age range still play with dolls or not, but my daughter definitely does. So I'm including it on this list. And if you have someone in your life who enjoys their dolls, think of other ways that you can add to the dolls without just needing more dolls. What are some other things they could use? Maybe a high chair or clothes or things like that for the dolls. Things like that can make it even more fun to play with the things that they already love. Another thing that my oldest has loved in this age range is adding to pieces toys that they already enjoy playing with. So this could be Magnetiles, Legos, train sets, erector sets, anything that your family really enjoys playing with and having a lot of. You can give additional sets as gifts so that they can continue to play with them and play with them even more so than they were before. Now, kind of a newer addition to our pieces things that I have been surprised with how much my kids have enjoyed it is a dollhouse. We were given from somebody else. I know there's a lot of people that don't like it that I do secondhand stuff, but somebody in our church had gotten this dollhouse from somebody else in our church, and they wanted to know if my daughters could have it now that theirs had outgrown it. We sat down with it when we got it home, and it was so fun to put together. My husband and I even sat down with them because we needed his help even to figure out some of the pieces that went together. I will pop a video of it in here. It is the cutest thing ever. Everything is wooden, and there's even a garage with a car. I mean, this is a very nice doll set. And it has sparked creativity in ways that I have been really surprised about. I mean, my girls are pretty creative, but this really came with what I would consider to be all the bells and whistles. It has everything they would need. But they started telling me, oh, Mom, we are going to make little plates and cups and things like that out of tinfoil. Can we have some tinfoil so we can make dishes for our dolls? And oh, we're going to sew them quilts, and we're going to make them towels, and oh, we need this, and oh, we're gonna put some lights in here. And so they started playing with it, and I love the creativity that started flowing of different ways that they could play with it, things that they could make to add to it, and they've just had so much fun with it. So all of that to say, sometimes the traditional minimalist pieces toys like the Magnetiles and the Lincoln Logs and all of those things aren't going to be the things that your kid would find the most inspiring to play with. We have Magnetiles and we also have Legos, and they play with them some if I put them out for them to play with and say, here, why don't you guys play with these? Or with the Legos, if my husband gets them out and starts playing with them, but it's not something that they ask for. The dollhouse, they ask for. If we are kind of moving through the evening quickly and they're looking at the clock going, oh, we've got a little bit of extra time, they will ask us, hey, if we get ready for bed quickly, can we play with our dollhouse for 20 minutes before bed, or things like that. So I would say if you do want to have more of a minimalist toy experience in your home, to maybe not get all of the pieces toys, but you can think outside of the box. It doesn't have to just be Magnetiles or Lincoln Logs or things like that, Legos. There are other toys that some kids might enjoy more than some of those, and depending on your child, they may much prefer to have a train set with all the bells and whistles than they would to have Magnetiles. I was just setting up the dollhouse to film it and show you guys what it looks like, and I just wanted to mention, I know a lot of people have said on my other videos that secondhand gifts are not good gifts and we shouldn't be thrifting for Christmas, things like that, but if you are not opposed to thrifting, like I am not, I highly suggest, if you are interested in getting your kids some sort of dollhouse or train table or bigger item like that, look on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, because I have done a little bit of looking and they can be very expensive, especially if you buy them new, but you can save quite a bit of money if you are willing to look secondhand. So just wanted to put that in there for any of you guys who think, oh, my kids would love something like that. Definitely check out those resources, and you could potentially get one for a lot cheaper than you would otherwise. Now this is one I know I mentioned in the last video, but I got this for my oldest when she was about 3 years old. It is a craft supply bag, and it is still one of our longest running, most used toys or accessories. I don't know, it's not really considered a toy, but the girls use this constantly. So if you have a child that is really into arts and crafts, something like this would be a great addition to their collection because it makes the hobby very portable. My kids will take this in the car with them when we go places. They will bring it from upstairs to downstairs. They will pull it out when they're just playing with the crafts in their room, and it makes it easy to put everything away and store it, as opposed to just, having coloring books kind of lying around and everywhere. This has been just a really good solution for us for the crafts. So if you have someone you are gifting for that loves their crafts, you could always get them this bag with some supplies in it and maybe some new coloring books or things like that. But this has been a favorite of our children for many years now. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about isn't really a toy, but it's something that my oldest has really enjoyed in this age range and in the 4 to 6 year old age range, and that is hobby idea gifts. So my oldest kind of settled into hobbies around 7, 8 years old, and she's kind of stuck with those. She keeps enjoying the same hobbies. But if your child doesn't have a hobby yet, something like a soap making kit, you can find them fairly inexpensive on Amazon, or there's lip balm making, there is friendship bracelet making, there's quilting, there's crocheting, just about every hobby that is out there. There's kind of a starter kit. Try it out and see if you like this hobby. I mentioned, I think it was 2 Christmases ago, we tried out woodworking with our middle daughter because she had said she was interested in building things. She tried it out, she enjoyed it, but it's not something that she is interested in continuing. And it was kind of a fun way for her to see, do I like this, do I not, before we invested a lot of time and money into the hobby. When my oldest turned 7, my sister got her a bath bomb making kit for her birthday, and she spent the entire day making bath bombs on her birthday, and that is ultimately what ended up becoming her soap making little side business, and it ended up being a long-running hobby. She still makes soap very consistently. She still loves that hobby. She will ask for supplies for different holidays. And it all started with that gift that kind of let her try something new and different out to see if she liked it. So I highly recommend this as a gift idea for kids in this age range. And you can always ask them to. I have a whole video about helping your child choose a hobby, and you can talk with them about different ideas and see what they're drawn to. And then you could always, for Christmas or a birthday, get them a part of that, let them try it, and then see if they want to continue going with it. So along those lines, another gift is hobby accessories. Like I said, she kind of settled into several hobbies actually pretty early, and she really loves it when she can get something to go along with those hobbies and make them even more fun for her. So one example of that is soap making. She really enjoys making soaps. So for a while there, she was asking family members and my husband and I and just about everyone that wanted to get her a gift for different molds because she really liked making different shapes and things like that. She would also ask for different scents because that girl, I told her this is for a business, it would be good to just have like 2 or 3. It would make it nice and easy, but she loves the different scents. So she would ask for different trial sizes so she could test them out and see which ones she liked. And she just had so much fun with all of the scents. She still has a lot of fun with it. She has probably, I don't even know, 40 different scents up there that she can choose from because she just really enjoys making different scents to go with her soaps. Another thing she also loves along this line is called micas, and it's how she colors the soaps. So you can see how you can take one hobby and make it even more fun for them to do something that they already love. Some other hobbies that my daughter really enjoys are crocheting and quilting. So this year for Christmas, she actually asked us for something to do with the quilting that she said she needs. And other things we have done in the past are getting her different kinds of yarn. So she got this for herself, but this would be something else that would be a great idea if your child's into things like this. She got this, and it is a yarn bag. And it has these little holes here in the bag where you can pull through different colors of yarn without actually having to get them out. So it keeps it nice and neat when you're working on something. It has these on both sides, so you can be working with, I think, 6 different colors at one time, but it keeps all the yarn contained, and it has this really cool pocket here with all of her needles and all of her accessories that she has for her crocheting and quilt making. So if your child is into something that has a lot of pieces, some sort of bag or organizational device for them for their hobby could be really fun too. And of course, different things that they can do with the hobby. So like I said, we have done different yarns for her. I found these really soft yarns that were really fun, and we got those for the girls, both of them, because our middle one does enjoy this too. And then they can have some new yarn or quilting supplies or whatever it is that they are into. This one to me surprised me when my girls got into it because I've always said I'm domestically challenged. I'm not somebody that can sew or crochet or anything like that. But my daughter saw one of our friends crocheting and started just asking over and over again, can somebody teach me how to crochet? So we found somebody who knew how and was willing to sit down with her and teach her, and spent just several hours with her on a Sunday teaching her how to chain, teaching her how to do it, and she's really continued to enjoy it. It's something now with the dollhouse, she's saying, I want to make them this, I want to crochet them that, and it's kind of fun because she can use her hobbies and put it with the toys to enhance both of those things. Another hobby that my kids are really into is swimming. So I've talked about this in what I've gotten my kids for Christmas videos, and we like to get them new swim caps. They use those every single day, and sometimes we'll get them kind of fun designs. Often I will let them actually pick out what they want before I order them because they're both a little picky with colors and things like that. So I will let them choose 1 to 3 new fun swim caps, and those will be stocking stuffers for them. And then sometimes, like this year, for example, we will be getting them each some new goggles as well, because it's good to have a few backup pairs, and they have broken a couple recently. So finding things if your children are into sports. I know somebody commented, I think on last year's video, I asked for other sports ideas for if your kids are into different things, and somebody was saying if your kids are into football or hockey, mouth guards are something that could be a fun stocking stuffer that would be an add to the sport. Of course, you know, hockey sticks, things like that, pucks, different balls if your kids are into football or basketball, things like that. Finding ways to enhance their sport and what they like to do for fun with that is another great thing to do for gifts for this age range. Somebody once told me, and I have found this so true for myself, I was kind of lamenting the fact that my oldest was getting older, and I think she was like 3 at the time. And one of my friend's moms said, every age was my favorite. And it has been so true for me. I love getting to see different pieces of their personality. It always makes me a little bit sad when we move into a new phase, but then I get to see a different part of them, and I just enjoy that so much that it kind of makes you forget about them growing up and being sad about that. But one of the things I've just loved at this age is just watching her kind of become her own person. Like I said, the crocheting is never something that I would have said, ooh, I want to teach you how to do this, because it's not something I'm interested in. But she saw somebody doing it. She said, I want to learn that, and was able to do it. Another thing was this summer she did a tennis camp with a friend, and again, not something that my husband and I are super into, but she wanted to do it really bad and she loved it. She now says that's one of her hobbies. That's one of the things she does. She wants a racket and, you know, things like that. So it's just really fun seeing them get to explore different things, learn different things, and decide what they really enjoy doing. Another hobby that has been very popular with all of my children, and if this is not your first video, you've probably heard me talk about it, but it is music. So for both of my girls this year, for their birthdays, they wanted guitars or ukuleles. Our church was doing a free ukulele class for the kids or adults, whoever wanted to join, once a month. And our girls really wanted to do it. I was hesitant to add another instrument because a stringed instrument is already a lot. The cello and violin both are not easy instruments, and they're doing piano. And so I said, I don't know, do we really want to do this? But they both said, this is all we want. This is what we want for our birthday. We want an instrument to be able to do it. And they had attended one of the classes, and their friends had let them borrow their ukuleles and try it out. And they both said they really liked it. So I took them to the music store. I asked the teacher, I said, is it okay if they do guitar or ukulele? I personally prefer the guitar, so I wanted to at least give them that option. And they both ended up choosing guitar. Now, I mentioned in the last video that I did, the gift ideas for 4 to 6-year-olds, that I think a ukulele actually would be better for that age range. My daughter chose a 1/4 size guitar, which is the proper size for her, but it's just a hard reach for her to reach the chords. And I think a ukulele would have been easier for her, so I'm actually considering getting her one of those. Don't tell her. But for my oldest, who it was her 9th birthday, we got her this guitar, which I can't remember. It's a 3/4 size guitar, and it fits her very well. It has a really, I don't know if it'll come across, but it has a really nice sound to it. It stays in tune really well. I haven't tuned it. I mean, it's not perfectly in tune, but it stays in tune really well. The 1/4 size that we have doesn't hold a tune quite as well, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. But this is something, if your children are into music, a guitar could be a really fun gift for them, especially if you play a little bit. I feel like a guitar is something where you can learn to be pretty okay at it fairly quickly. You can learn 3, 4, 5 chords, and especially if you like to play Christian music, there are a lot of songs that you can play with just a few basic chords, and there's so many tutorials on YouTube and things like that. It can just be a really fun thing to do. So we like to get the guitars out at least once a week and play as we're having worship and kind of just enjoy playing music together. So highly recommend music if your kids are into it, either instruments or instrument accessories. One of my absolute favorite reactions that I've ever gotten from my kids for any gift they've ever gotten was when we gave our 5-year-old, she had just started violin, and she really wanted a metronome. And I had been using one on my phone. I didn't think she needed one, but she really wanted one like her teacher, where you could actually see the metronome moving back and forth. And so I got one for her for Christmas, along with a bunch of other things, actually a doll cradle and some nicer, what I would consider toys for a 5-year-old. And she lost her mind. She was so excited to get this metronome, and it was hilarious. We still have the video and I still watch it from time to time. She was squealing and jumping up and down. And for weeks afterwards, she would just turn on the metronome and like walk around the house to the beat. So I'm not saying get a metronome for your 5-year-old unless they're really asking for it. But if your kids are really into something, you know, adding to a hobby that they already have can be a really fun thing for them. And yeah, I would have never guessed she would have been so happy about the metronome. I kind of thought that would be one that was like, oh, okay, thanks, and moving on. But she really enjoyed it. So if you can find things like that, my middle daughter now is asking for her own tuner because they have one that they share, but she wants her own. So I may get her a tuner as well so they can each have one in their bag. I don't know if that helps any of you guys with ideas for your kids, but music has been a really fun one for us, and there's a lot of things you can do along those lines to help them with their music and help them enjoy playing their music even more. Now, another thing that we have loved for this age range is games. I mentioned pretty much from the time I think my oldest was 3. I think my husband and I started doing it earlier even for each other, but getting games as a family gift every year. And the fun thing when they hit 7, 8, 9, they can start to understand the gameplay more. I feel like when they were a little bit younger than that, unless it was Candyland or Uno or a very simple game, it was more us playing kind of for them and with them as opposed to them playing their own individual thing. But once they got to be 7, 8, 9, my oldest has started really enjoying strategy games. Simple ones, obviously. It's not like anything too crazy, but there's a lot of games that kids in this age range can handle and enjoy. This is one we are actually going to be giving the kids this year. It's called Sushi Go. I know you guys, a lot of people don't like it when I do this, but we found it secondhand at a used thing for a couple of dollars. And that's been a great way for us to get new games because games can be so expensive now. And my husband will always go and look through the games at secondhand places, and we'll get ones for like $5, $2, things like that. And as long as we know it has all the pieces, it's a really good way to get a new game. This is one my brother-in-law had introduced me to, and it's a ton of fun, and I think my daughter will really like it this year. Another one that my 9-year-old really enjoys is called Splendor, and that's one of my favorite games as well. It's got enough strategy to make it interesting for the adults, and you can kind of do as much or a little strategy as you want. The gameplay is fairly simple, so younger kids can pick up on it and participate, and the cool thing is there's lots of different ways that you can win. So even if they don't understand the more complex ways that you can win the game, they could still win with the simple ways. And my daughter has actually beat me when I wasn't letting her with this game. So it's a fun one for the whole family, and it's a good way to get your kids into strategy games if it's something that your family enjoys. So that was the end of my list, but I'm also going to look through and make sure I get all of the things that my daughter told me to add. She said to add books, and she really likes books that are, well, she likes chapter books at this point, but she also really likes books that are about her other hobbies. So she likes looking at quilting books. She likes looking at penguin books. She loves penguins, and she likes learning more about them. So I find that's a really fun way also to enhance a toy or a hobby, to get them books about the thing that they already enjoy. She said a journal also. She likes having blank notebooks that she can write in. So that's another fun idea for this age range. Bath bombs, that's something that we have gotten our kids every year in their stocking, I think since they were 1 year old. And it's a fun, consumable gift that they get a lot of joy out of. Another thing on her list was subscription boxes. Again, I mentioned in the last video, my brother-in-law's family, my husband's brother's family, has done this a couple of times for the kids. They've gotten them subscription boxes or magazine subscriptions, and the kids have really enjoyed them, and it makes it fun. They get mail, they get to think about relatives that aren't around all the time, and it was something they really enjoyed having. Now, this one's kind of funny if you know the backstory. I was telling my kids about getting comments on the old videos saying that backpacks are not great gifts, and they thought that that was crazy. They absolutely loved those backpacks last year, so she told me, make sure you put the backpacking backpack on the list of ideas. And I would say if your kids are interested in backpacking, that can be a great gift for them. So again, it's just enhancing the hobbies that they have. I was asking my middle daughter recently if there were any other hobbies that she was interested in trying, because she has quite a few less hobbies than my oldest does. She's younger. So with Christmas coming, I was just kind of getting ideas. Do you have anything you want to try? Anything you're interested in? And she said, yeah, well, she said her sister has way too many hobbies. And we started just kind of counting them up for fun. And I think she had like 10 or 15 things that she's into, but backpacking is one of them. So that's why she considers that to be a good gift. And then experiences. And I will be actually doing a full video of experience gift ideas for kids. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. But one thing that my oldest daughter has asked for like the last couple of birthdays and Christmases is extra cello lessons. She loves her cello teacher. She loves cello. She said she wakes up every morning and thinks to herself, is it cello day? Can I play more? Can I go to my teacher's house today? She just really enjoys it. So she has asked for, and I may talk to the teacher and see if we can figure it out. The teacher has a very full schedule already, but maybe we could get her one extra lesson a month or something like that. I need to figure out all of the details. But the reason I mention that is if your child, again, is interested in learning something, finding lessons for them to be able to do that could be a gift if it's something the child really wants to do. And then she also said museum passes, put that on the list as well. So I will, like I said, be doing a full video on experience gifts. So if you would like more ideas along that line, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell next to it so you will be notified when that video comes out. But that is all I had for this video. Please let me know in the comments down below what other minimalist intentional gift ideas you like to give your children in this age range. And I know my list is skewed girls still at this point because I only have a girl in this age range. So if you have a boy and you have minimalist intentional gift ideas for them, please put those in the comments down below because I would love to read them. I will be needing those at some point, and I'm sure a lot of other moms would as well.